This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at sphererocketva.com and find out how we can make your life easier.
What's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Icon Podcast. I am your host, Gianna, and today we have Mike Urban with us. Welcome to the show. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, Mike, you've got a pretty sweet setup there. Do you have a podcast of your own?
I do. Since the last 2 years, I've been doing a lot of YouTube videos, and we could get into that later. But yeah, that's pretty much what I do, and it's where I get a lot of business from as well.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Mike, let's start with the background. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you grow up to be a real estate agent?
So I grew up in a small town in Northeast Pennsylvania and around Scranton. If you've ever seen The Office, that's the best reference I could give. But I got into the business. My dad is a licensed electrician. So for a good 10 years, I actually spent working directly with him, alongside of him, doing residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. And that's how I was introduced into the real estate industry. And from there on out, I basically was like, you know what, it might be beneficial for me to get my real estate license.
Yeah.
So I did. Actually, no, I'll take a step back. I went to get my license and I didn't pass the test. We were buying a house at the time and I didn't get back into it until years later. I was actually really sick. I don't want to talk about that too much, but I was really sick. When I started, I didn't know if I was going to get better, but I knew if I did get better, I wanted to change the trajectory of my life. And started studying for that test again, and I passed it, and pretty much everything else is history. Flash forward now, I have a real estate team in Pennsylvania, and I actually live in Boston, Massachusetts, building out another business here as well. And it's been around, I think, 7 years now since I've been licensed and since I've been selling real estate. And I can't imagine doing anything else at this point.
That's awesome. So clearly, you were able to recover well. I like that you had a future in sight for yourself. That's really cool. And, that light at the end of the tunnel was real estate. And here you are, obviously killing the game. You're an Icon agent, top 2% of EXP. So congrats on being an Icon agent. And
Thank
Mike,
you.
I'm curious how you came across EXP. Was it your first brokerage? How was it introduced to you?
So that's a great question, actually. What ended up happening is this. I wasn't working. I didn't start at EXP. I started at a smaller independent mom and pop place. Then I ventured over to another brokerage and I was there for about a year and a half, and we weren't growing at that brokerage. I have a partner, his name is Danny Lorenzini. Both him and I basically run the organization that we have. And we weren't growing where we were at. So I kept on seeing EXP pop up, and everybody kept on telling me about EXP. And honestly, one day I spent a good half of a day doing the research, looking at the analytics, just everything in terms of the business model. And flash forward now, we've been at the company for, I think it's probably been about 12 months, maybe 13 months now.
Awesome.
And we came over with 3 of us. Now we're almost at 50 agents. So
wow.
Yeah, I just did my own due diligence, my own research. I sought out a sponsor and kind of took it from there. And I've just been grinding away every day, pretty much.
That's awesome. I love that due diligence that you took and like the research and finding the sponsor. And we'll touch on that towards the end of the podcast. But Mike, I am curious. You talked about a lot of benefits that come with EXP. So obviously rev share and team building is one that you've got to be loving, but you also get that sense of collaboration, stock options, you get the EXP con and shareholders, the EXP world. Everybody's kind of at your an arm reach away from connecting and masterminding with here at EXP because of the metaverse. So what is your favorite thing about EXP? What is something that maybe you utilize a lot or really enjoy that you didn't expect about EXP?
I think that one of the things that I didn't expect, I would say, is how collaborative and how engaging everybody is at the company. While we don't necessarily see each other face to face in your normal office, we do see each other either in EXP World or just collaborating on Workplace, or we have a dedicated, almost like a chat room for our agents. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't think that the collaboration was going to be as high level as it was. And that's what really surprised me. It was kind of like the curtain getting unveiled. I knew all the stuff on the surface, but I didn't understand everything on the back end. And once I got privy to that and how helpful everybody was, I knew that's somewhere where I wanted to be. I wanted to be around like-minded people, like-minded agents, and be able to grow this business with them, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, that's incredible. And with growing the business, that's a big goal here at EXP and with the people because of the stock options, right? So the more we grow together, the more success we see together, the more we're going to see our stock increase in value, and everybody wins when it comes to that. Unless, of course,
right.
You're just getting in and you get a stock award and the stock was a little pricey, but
right.
I digress. Anyway, so Mike, let's talk about your work-life balance, right? So, yeah, I see that little smirk. Everybody gives me that smirk because it's hard for a real estate agent to have a work-life balance. Industry can swallow you whole. So how do you step back and take care of Mike? How do you make sure your clients are taken care of at the same time? How are you avoiding burnout, drawing a line between work and play? What does this area of your life and career look like for you?
This is a complicated question because work-life balance, in my opinion, is something that constantly changes, especially if you have a family. I have a wife, I have 2 kids, and we're growing not only in terms of sales, but also as agents and trying to help those agents be productive as well. So I try to dedicate at least 8 hours of my life every single day to work. Okay. I try not to work more than 8 hours. That's like 9 to 5. Obviously, some days that's an impossibility. Today I have to work like 10 hours, but that's just because I have things to do. But, my daily schedule is I wake up in the morning and I really won't look at things like my phone, my email. I'll just kind of try to pay attention to my kids, getting them ready, getting myself ready, both mentally and physically for the day. And, I try to go to I've been trying to go to the gym almost every other day for the last few months. That's actually been very helpful. Just in staying somewhat balanced. And, I do my lead gen in the morning and I do my follow-up in the afternoon. And then pretty much once the clock strikes 5, unless I'm already on a phone call, go spend time with my wife, my kids, and try to give them 100%. And that's the hard part of the business, to like kind of put away the phone. But it's something that if you're mindful of that while you're in the process, I think it becomes easier. So if any agents are out there watching this, just try to stay consistent with that and develop a habit and try to, keep family time, and work time. It's hard though. I mean, I'm not going to lie.
No, absolutely. It is tough to balance it all, but it's a must because burnout mode is so tough to recover from. It can actually take up to 2 years to recover from a burnout. So, it's important to step back, take care of yourself, invest in your family, because those are the things that you keep going for. And so Mike, have you made any hires in your business, like social media managers or operations managers, ISAs, TCs? How have you leveraged out some hires to get to the position or, the scale that you're doing business at?
So I actually don't have an admin or a TC, or I do have TCs though. I have about 4 transaction coordinators, 2 in Massachusetts, 2 in Pennsylvania. And that has taken a large portion of the stuff that I had to do on the back end away because they're handling that. And I also automate as many parts of my business as I possibly can. And having habits and rituals is also helpful. But that's it. I really just have my TCs. And then in Pennsylvania, if I have a listing appointment or, I'm not driving back to Pennsylvania for a listing appointment, but I will send my like A team out there to meet with a seller, go over whatever. And then I'll do my analysis on the back end and I list their home. And then plus we have our buyers, agents, and we give a lot of leads out to those agents from our listings. And I don't really represent buyers in Pennsylvania, just mainly listings in PA, and then buyers, sellers, investors here in Massachusetts. And I have people that are indirectly with me that I give my renter leads out here and stuff like that. But for the most part, social media is done by me. Obviously my YouTube videos, I kind of have a process. And I know it's important, so I don't really farm that stuff out. I know maybe I should, but I kind of make the time for it, if that makes sense.
Sure, absolutely. And Mike, my next question is going to be into production, which is great because you just touched on the fact that you're in 2 markets. So here at EXP, 2 markets is still 1 cap, so that's pretty exciting. So what's the average housing price looking like for you in those markets, and how many houses do you have to sell to be able to cap?
That's a complicated question because I'm working in 2 markets. I have a mixture of production in Pennsylvania, and then I have a mixture of production here in Massachusetts as well. The median home price in Pennsylvania is probably in the vicinity of like 175 to 200,000. The median home sale, single family home, I would say here in Massachusetts is anywhere between 750 to 800. Condo is about 680 to 700. So I have a mixture of sales. So for instance, I only have first year's analytics, right? Like my first year at EXP, I think I capped within maybe 2.5 months at EXP. And which was fantastic because the prior brokerage I was working for didn't have 1 cap. And my complete cap was, I believe, $64,000. Wow. So for me to cap, because the company I work for, you did cap, but it was independently owned. So if you combine both caps, it was it was a crazy number. It was insane. So that's like the difference of capping in 2.5 months or capping in 6 or 7 or 8 months, right? Because of the difference there. So that's pretty much it. And in terms of the amount of transactions, so when I was a solo agent in Pennsylvania, I was doing anywhere between 55 to 70 transactions a year. And now it's obviously split. I give a lot of referrals out and stuff like that, but I'm still in that same ballpark, but now it's kind of divvied up between both states, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awesome. It's cool to see the opportunities that EXP has to offer for people in production, and that cap you mentioned earlier, $64,000. That's a lot of money you're leaving on the table. That's a lot. So, and that's money here that is $16,000 that you have the opportunity to earn back. So,
correct.
And Mike has done that because that's one of the benefits of being an icon agent. And Mike, along with being an icon agent, you also have cultural commitment. So it's not just production. It's a lot of, mentoring or coaching, being on icon panels, vetting other icons. So what is your cultural commitment and why do you go with that?
Well, I think it's a huge benefit to share any wealth of knowledge with either other icon agents or agents that are also not quite at that level, just to keep people motivated. Even myself, like sometimes I like listening. I know how to get to icon, but staying motivated is a big part of maintaining that status, in my opinion, and trying to achieve that status every single year. So obviously the panels that we have access to at EXP allow us to earn the complete amount of the money that we already paid to the company dollar, which was the $16,000. I'm currently working on getting the benefits of that and retaining that as well right now by introducing myself on those panels and X, Y, and Z.
Absolutely. And that's a great way to get immersed into EXP and EXP world. And I really like that they have this cultural requirement for you guys because you're the best of the best in EXP in the industry, top 2%, and you're the ones teaching people coming in. You're the ones taking on mentees. So I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and, it's awesome. Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's a great, it sets a tone for the morale and like the overall we want you to succeed motive that EXP has. And then Mike, the Icon Award comes with a lot of benefits. So you get the opportunity to earn your cap back in stock. You can go to EXPCon and shareholders for some stock awards. You get a big glass shiny trophy. So what's your favorite part about being an Icon agent? And why do you continue to set that on as a standard for yourself year after year?
I think that for me, I think that it's, obviously there's the financial benefits of it, but it's also about like when it comes to the agent attraction, I think that they have access to me. So like my agents could call me. As a matter of fact, every single Friday from 1 to 5, I do a free phone call with me for a half an hour. I'm trying to maintain that for the rest of the year. And I think it provides just having that status provides a platform where like it's a credibility thing, where I'm able to help other agents. So I think that since I joined EXP has been the biggest surprise to me, is that once you reach that status, more people will end up reaching out to you and asking you how you got to that level of your career. And what it really does is it sort of separates the herd, where if people are asking questions or they want to talk to me, I know that they have potential to potentially be that top producing agent or an Icon agent. So I think that's the biggest surprise to me. Like beside the other benefits of Icon, it's just like a credibility. And, some agents end up looking up to you because you do have that status. And it's not an ego boost for me. It actually helps me provide ego boosts to the agents or to people that I talk to. And I talk to people from companies all across the country. It's not only necessarily about talking about EXP or just to EXP agents. And that I think is the biggest contribution that at least I could give since I've gotten that status.
Absolutely. And, there's so many great things about being an Icon agent, and you get that sense of elite status, opportunities at shareholders to be around, other smart, high producing agents, be at the same table as them. They host a breakfast that's exclusive to the Icon agents. So I think that's really cool too.
Yep.
The rooms you get access to. And Mike, for somebody that is coming over to EXP for the first time, maybe they're a high producing agent at another brokerage, or maybe they're a rookie agent and they are looking to Icon themselves. Is that possible in your first year at EXP? What are some goals they need to be setting out for that, or major mistakes they need to avoid?
So we actually, within our group, I'm happy you asked that question. We within our group have 2 brand new licensed agents. They literally just got their license, and both of them are, I think, going to be announced as Icon agents within the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Prior to, a year and a half ago, they didn't sell one house. They weren't even in the industry. And, obviously I'm not accrediting their success at all to me or our group. They're just hard workers. But I think that staying motivated and being a part of the culture of EXP is what drove them to get to that status. They saw me get there, and I'm sure them knowing that I might hit that status was a driving factor, at least somewhat. Even if it was a small percentage, it's still a percentage of them wanting to obtain that status. So I think that anybody could reach Icon status. I know that seems like an impossibility. I'm talking, agents are watching this and they're brand new. I know that seems like an impossibility, but if you put the work behind what you're doing and do it with intention of helping people, you'll be successful. And, if you don't hit Icon within your first year and you cap, that's still absolutely amazing. Even if you only half cap or 3/4 cap, that's still absolutely amazing. But it's a goal to work towards. And when you have, I think, 85 or 90,000 agents now trying to work towards that same goal, it's intrinsically motivating you to want to obtain the same exact thing.
Absolutely. And, for somebody like yourself, I'm sure that EXP was presented to you and you're like, man, this seems too good to be true. Like, were you ever skeptical of it? What was that thought process for you?
So I kind of had it's like the horse with the blinders. Like I knew about everything that EXP had to offer, but I was like, I didn't want to talk about it or hear about it. Not because I'm stubborn, but just more so for the fact I was kind of comfortable where I was at. And the fact is, I just kept on seeing it, and I just kept on seeing colleagues from other companies around the country going over to EXP, team leaders I was friends with around the company going to EXP. So I was like, oh, I got to do the research on this and see what the hell is going on.
Clues, right?
Yeah. So that's essentially what happened. And then literally, I didn't talk to any. I mean, I did talk to Danny, my business partner and colleague, but like, honestly, it was just a complete 180. Like, I was working for one company, I did the research, I'm like, all right, I'm going to at least, this is the best way that I could put it. If for people that are thinking about joining EXP, I had this little chime in my head that kept on thinking, man, am I doing the right thing by continuing where I'm at? And I was so curious about the company, the culture, and just what they provided that it was driving me crazy, right? Like, I wasn't obsessed with thinking about it, but I was obsessed with trying not to think about it, if that makes sense, because I saw it everywhere. And it was obviously the best decision that we've made, that I've made for my family, for myself, for the agents that are with us. And it's been life-changing. I will tell you that much. It's been life-changing.
That's awesome. And I hear that a lot, that EXP has been life-changing, and there's so many reasons to come over here. And Mike, for somebody that's watching and they saw, they're much like you, right? They saw some big names coming over. They saw that EXP had the opportunity to change lives, and you can get your cap back and have practically no overhead, right? And so they see the greener grass, but they're scared to break up with their broker. They're scared to make the move. They think it's too good to be true. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a cult, right? So for somebody that's 95% there, what would you have to say to get them to make that jump, to go ahead and cut the cord and go all in with EXP?
They have to break what I call the golden handcuffs. Okay. What that means is, a lot of times the brokerages that they're working for, they'll have listings, they'll have deals under contract, they'll have all this stuff, right? They'll be curious about joining somewhere else, and then they're either reminded by the broker, owner, another agent that, hey, if you leave, you're going to lose all your listings, you may lose half of your commission. So I call that golden handcuffs, and that's what a lot of these big box brokerages, these big franchises do to agents, and that's really in my opinion, I think it's shady business practice. But a lot of times, if that's what's holding you back, like I had golden handcuffs where I was at too. They were putting things over my head on why I should stay. Look, you'll be sick if you're successful where you're at and you have the handcuffs. You're going to be successful no matter where you go. But there's more opportunity for growth, both as an agent, as a mentor, and in my opinion, as a person at EXP versus other companies, because of the collaboration, because of the agents you network with, and because of the opportunities that EXP provides. So if you are on the fence and you're sick of, you were like me and you were like trying to ignore the fact that this is honestly probably a good decision, but I don't want to do it, take the jump, because you're going to torture yourself just like I did. And if you make the jump, I promise you, if you continue to do exactly what you're doing now, you will be hyper successful at EXP. Okay. You will build a business for yourself. And not only that, but you have the availability of helping agents that are under you with the company and being compensated for your time. You're not doing things for free. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that, Mike. And I think that you've made some excellent points here. And, if you guys are curious about EXP, make sure to reach out to Mike, get connected like he did. He did his due diligence. He interviewed different uplines, saw who could be the best sponsor for him. And maybe Mike is the best sponsor for you. Maybe he's not. But all you can do is connect with him, ask questions, interview him, interview the company. What do you like about EXP? What don't you like about EXP? Why should I make the move? Beyond, maybe what you haven't heard on this podcast yet. And Mike, before I let you go, I would love to hear more about your podcast and your YouTube channel. How did you get that started and why?
So 2 years ago, around the start of COVID, I saw a lot of people doing video. I've always been somewhat comfortable on video, and I was like, I was doing videos for my clients privately. So I already had a YouTube channel, and I was already sending out unlisted or private videos to my clients and sharing my screen and going over market data and just doing pretty much everything that I'm doing now. Instead of sending it out to one client, I'm sending it out to anybody that is interested. So that's pretty much how it got started. And that's it. It started by doing it privately. And the reason that I started it is because the stuff that I was doing on a in-office basis, I was no longer doing because of COVID. So I was like, well, how could I provide the same level of value to my clients that I was able to provide before, but being at home and not having an office? And obviously Zoom is one of those things. But a lot of times with Zoom, they have to commit to a certain time of day to meet me on Zoom and X, Y, and Z. Yep. When I have a video, they could go back and rewatch it as much as they want, and it was a private video for them. So that's kind of how it got started. And while it's a small channel, I only have a few hundred subscribers. It's becoming a big part of my business here in Massachusetts.
Yeah, absolutely. And generating leads and being somebody that's known, like, and trusted within the community, and kind of gathering a sphere of influence. And I think that starting a YouTube channel is invaluable for a real estate agent. So that's really cool. What's the channel called, Mike?
It's just Living in Boston and my name, Mike Urban. That's it.
Awesome. Well, guys, make sure to check that out. And if you are with EXP or not, reach out to Mike and get some advice on that. See how it's generating leads for him. Talk about EXP, talk about all things live. Mike, is there anything that you want to leave the listeners with as we wrap it up today?
Yeah. If you're looking to make the jump, you're watching this, I highly advise you talk to as many people as possible. And not only me, and just get the scoop, and don't believe everything that you're reading, on social media and stuff like that. Go directly to the source, because people will bash other companies left and right on social media. Talk to the people that are actually working at the company. Talk to people that are influencing other agents at the company. Talk to people that are helping other agents become cappers or icon agents. That's who you need to talk to, and that's who you should surround yourself with if you want to be a top producing agent. You're not going to be a top producing agent if you're surrounding yourself with low producing agents at a low producing independent brokerage. Okay.
Proximity is power.
That's right. 100%. So just get out there and get at it.
Mike, I think this has been an extremely valuable episode of this podcast. And are you going to be at EXPCon?
Not this year, but I will be there next year.
Awesome. Well, hopefully I'll run into you at one of these crazy big events that EXP likes to throw on soon. And Mike, we'll be in touch. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks again. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye, Mike.
This Icon podcast is hosted and sponsored by Sphere Rocket Virtual Assistants, a leading provider for your virtual assistants and outsourcing needs. Owned by one of the top-ranking EXP agents, Justin Nelson. Sphere Rocket VA provides a one-stop virtual staffing solution for business owners, and we specialize in helping business owners grow their business by leveraging through virtual assistants. Trusted by the top names in the real estate industry like Kyle Whistle, Andrew Franklin, John Kitchens, and many more. Get ready to up your success, and we'll help you achieve your business goals. Book your free consultation at SphereRocketVA.com and find out how we can make your life easier.